Exclusive, Dylan Dreyer discloses that his 6-year-old son Calvin has celiac disease. For the sake of Dylan Dreyer's son's health, her family recently underwent some significant changes. Wednesday saw the co-host of Today's Third Hour and NBC News meteorologist, 41, share the news that her 6-year-old son Calvin Bradley had just received a celiac disease diagnosis. In an interview with People About the Search for Answers, the mother of 3, who also has sons Russell Rusty James, 19 months, and Oliver George, 12 years old, with husband Brian Fisher, recalled her little child constantly complaining of stomach pain every day. I'd inquire, "What does it feel like?" from him. She tells People that he would complain of acute pain and that this would go on for months at a time. Dre reduced her intake of dairy in the hopes that it might be a food allergy or sensitivity, but on several occasions, Calvin's agony prompted his worried parents to take him to the hospital emergency department. "We took him to the emergency department overnight just in case it was his appendix or something else, and they ran an ultrasound of it. It appeared to be in good shape." He frequently complained about a headache or pain in his ears, and the stomach agony persisted for months and months, she says. "We took him to the ENT for a checkup, and his ears were fine. They initially believed he had molars on the way, but he also had an odd rash on his head. His hair would fall out in clumps if you pushed it out of the way to look at it," she reveals. "These things were happening, and we just didn't know how or if they were connected," the author said. He had to be put under anesthesia for an endoscopy, which was required. Watching your child undergo anesthesia is dreadful. It's unpleasant. It bothers you to see it. However, after an endoscopy, it was discovered that the man's agony was being caused by a stomach ulcer. Calvin has celiac disease, which is a serious condition where gluten offers a serious risk to the small intestine and leads in diarrhea, abdominal discomfort, and vomiting. Doctors initially believed the ulcer was caused by bacteria and provided a potent antibiotic, but subsequent tests revealed this was not the case. No one in Dreyer's or Fisher's families has the ailment. "We were quite worried because of how some of the findings came back. We felt it was something far more terrible. When we learned that she had celiac disease, I was able to say, okay, that's an inconvenience, it's a life change, but we can manage that." You start Googling and expecting the worst. "We were incredibly appreciative. The 5-person family's diet was completely changed as a result of the diagnosis, and everyone is now gluten-free. There is also a thing as cross-contamination, so if I boil water in a pot that I previously used to make pasta in, I can't use that pot to cook for Calvin because gluten could become lodged in the grooves or scratches of the pot. Therefore, I had to practically throw away half of the items in my kitchen, including wooden spoons, Teflon cookware, and any plastic cutting boards." Dreyer acknowledges that the procedure was initially daunting. "I had to hand wash everything I didn't throw away in extremely hot water before running it through the dishwasher." Dreyer admits that it can be difficult to control Calvin's environment away from the house. "Some people you'll tell you have celiac disease or you can't eat gluten, and you have to brace yourself for the eye roll. They aren't serious about it. I don't want him coming into contact with it at all, and everyone in my world needs to be aware of that. I mean, for him to have a stomach ulcer, for him to have his hair falling out, for him to have just a persistent earache and a headache." Dreyer has already benefited greatly from Calvin's teacher, who provides him with gluten-free snacks so he won't lose out on special occasions when other students bring in delicacies for the class. She didn't want him to feel like a particular treat was being withheld from him or left out. "I really appreciated her doing it for me." Since Calvin's diagnosis, Dreyer had never traveled before and literally brought camping supplies, pots, pans, dishes, all that stuff. "It was like a large family reunion when we went to the house when we went to visit family out in Oregon. The rest of the group could enjoy their pancake breakfast, and I could still prepare Calvin's eggs in a different pan." Fortunately, Calvin has been curious about everything he has had the opportunity to try. "Making bread, pizza dough, and other gluten-free goods is my new interest because Calvin loves food and is open to trying new things. Calvin tries it and tells me if he really likes it, so I simply try all these other recipes I discover online," she says. "He really liked my bread and pizza dough. It's cute to see his reactions as I explore and try new things because he remarked, 'Mom, this is like the best I've ever even had before.' There are some things he certainly misses though, like Jersey Mike's." Dreyer admits that following Calvin's diagnosis, "I sort of put my head down and focused on the tasks at hand, like cleaning the kitchen." But she hopes to spark a conversation by sharing her family's experience and connecting with other parents of children with celiac disease. "My husband offered to help, but I needed to do it myself to ensure that everything was done correctly, which was very mother hen-like," she says. "It's less intimidating now that we've made the house gluten-free, sorted out which places to visit, and discovered what snacks are safe."